Hello everyone, so I've got an interesting thing to share this day, and I'm going to start out with showing kind of a little flip through of this cute little Happy Mail kind of mini album. I'm not even sure what to call it yet, so maybe I'll have that by the time post-production comes around. And I have used a lot of the supplies that came in the Your Creative Studio box from January 2024 with this fabulous postage theme. We've got the stamps, you know, all kinds of stuff. So I have that here. But let's go ahead and just take a look at this. It looks like a cute little envelope here, and it's made using a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock or paper. And after this little flip through, I am going to go in and show you in detail how to do that. So starting off, we have some of the paper from Your Creative Studio box. This washi is from way back, a different one. It's thinner, so I just used it on there. And then this obviously didn't come in the box, the wax seal. Let me get up close so you can see that. Isn't that cool? I actually just have a little wax seal stuff. I only have two little stamps, and so that's how I did that. And I think I might have to add some adhesive, but how I did it was I used the backing paper from a sticker to put under here so that when it was melted and I put it on, it didn't adhere to the whole thing, so that I could still use it as a tuck. But I have, what did I do with that? While I was at it, you know, I have all that stuff out, I just used a silicone mat here to pour out a couple more. This one didn't go perfectly, but this one I will probably use again on the demo and just use some tacky glue or some kind of strong adhesive to glue it on and just glue it halfway on so I can use it the same way. And then we have some of the stickers. They came in this cute little box, and I just put them on the cover there. But this has all kinds of tucks and spots, and maybe I will have to zoom out because there's so much that I'm going to run out of room. So you open up here, and these two folds I glued only partially down, and you could leave them open to flap out. There's so many ways to personalize this, but for this one, I used it as a tiny little tuck spot for these tiny little pieces of ephemera that have come in previous boxes. And then I used the postage, or the stamp here with this postage, and just stamped it on the background there. Then we have this little part here, and we have some paper, some stamps, a rub-on, and a sticker. And for the rub-ons, I have used them now, you know, I've been getting them a few times, and I'd have to say that I would advise using them sooner than later because they work so much better and easier when they're newer. They can maybe not come off as easily when they're older. So here's some paper from the box that I covered, just the white back there, and then this side flips out even further, so it was kind of there. And then I have decorated this side with more paper from the box, more paper from the box. This is the right here for this tab is the sticker sheet that's kind of textured. I used it and folded it over here. And then we have this part that flips down here. And so there's a middle section. All the way down at the bottom here, I used some of the vellum to make another little pocket. And inside my little pocket there, I have this little piece of paper that I've just stapled some lined paper on to make a teeny little booklet, and it tucks back in there very easily. And then here, this actually flips. Oh, I didn't talk about this one. This I flipped down and glued, and this paper right here did not come in the box. It's one I've just had in my stash for a long time, so I used that. And then this tag was from a previous box. Probably both of these were, but I thought they fit pretty well to tuck right in there. And then, boom, boom, this flips over here, and I've decorated this side with ephemera from the box. And then here I decorated. Now on this side, I knew that this could flip up like this or be looked at this way. So I kind of considered that when I placed my paper here. And so I did it right upside this way and then upside down that way, so it's kind of both directions, if that makes sense, because you're seeing it from both ways there. And then finally on this section here, it's another pocket because I've glued the side here. And I've decorated here with a doily from my stash, and this is from the box. And in here is some of the packaging from, I think it was the part that had all these papers, but I'm not entirely sure. And then I have everything, it says everything I can never tell you. And actually, I used some paper to cover it up, but I didn't glue it all the way down just so that I could show you guys. See that? That was the back side, and I gotta remember to glue that the rest of the way down at some point. Maybe not just this second here, but, and I tuck this back in here, and I used just a circle punch here to make a little thumb notch so that that wouldn't be completely hidden, and, you know, whoever receives this, uses it, you know, will know that it has that function. And so then it all folds back together into a little envelope. Now this one, I used a paper. I would call it a paper. It's lighter weight, and it has a little bit of cracking, and it feels maybe not as sturdy as I'd like it to be. So we're gonna go ahead and make one. Now I'm gonna bring in, it would be helpful if you have some kind of scoring board, but this can absolutely be done without a scoring board. And I have this monster size item here that I'm going to use to score it. But if you just have a ruler and a pencil, you can mark your lines and fold and score that way. And I am going to show you here my little paper. That's not all the way in. Let's just see. And you could pause and take a screenshot if you want, if it's hopefully in focus. It has all the information on there. I will be referring to it. But basically, you have a 12 by 12 sheet. We're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to do some folds along the other orientation. So rotate it this way. We're going to score and fold at 3.25, at 6.5, and again at 9.75. And then we're going to make some strategic cuts. And I'm going to go ahead and do all this in a moment too. We're going to cut here and here to just remove this entire rectangle here. And we're going to make a cut along here, but only stopping at the center point, and then cut again just on this line. So I kind of have color coordinated there, and then to make that envelope shape there, we're just going to fold this corner all the way down in line with this. So this is my little cheat sheet on a piece of lightweight cardstock, and that's kind of what I would recommend for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and do it on this paper. This one is double-sided, and you have to, if you have it double-sided, or even if you don't, you have to somewhat think about where things are going to be. So in my example one, it was white on one side, so not double-sided, single-sided, and I just cover up that whiteness because I didn't want it with other paper. And then this is a fairly simple pattern, the polka dot. So for this paper, I think it's going to work because both sides are fairly simple. This is a strong color, but it's a polka dot, so I think I can work with that, and I can just cover up what, it won't compete with whatever I'm putting on, like different images. And then this side is light, so I'm hoping that it's not too strong and doesn't compete with how I want to decorate it. And I hope that makes sense. Another thing to consider, oops, I ripped it. I tried it out on something that's a more of a thicker cardstock, and I just tore it, which is sort of sad, but oh well. I feel like this is a little too thick because you're folding up all these layers. It can be done, but it's hard to get things to line up, so it's a little more challenging with a thicker cardstock. So keep that in mind, but use what you have. That is the whole point there. So let's go ahead and start with our first score. And I have this lovely scoreboard here. So all the way over here, and then I'm gonna do, actually I have to think about this. How do I want this? Since mine's a pattern on one side, I think I do want it going up and down this way because this is going to be folded in half like that. Hopefully these things don't, I mean, they might actually end up being upside down in places, and then maybe I can cover that up, but directionality is definitely a concern, so maybe think about that, or don't use the paper that you only have one of to start. Practice on something that's not precious. That is definitely wisdom there. So I've made a score at the 6" and then we're gonna turn it, and this is the 6" one. Mark is the one that you want going up and down. So I think if this all works according to plan, that this pattern's going to be going this way in here. Now I'm going to the 3.25 mark here. I'm going to go all the way down and make a nice score, and we're going to burnish and fold these next. Then the one after that is 6.5. Keep this even. Where's my 6.5? Right here. Oops, great. And you know what I already did? I got off because I moved my paper, but I'm just going to do it again. So it really wants to travel, but I want to stay on the right line. And for my scoreboard here, it only goes up to 9.5, which my next mark is 9.75. So what I'm going to do is, for this one, I'm just going to rotate it and do it at, I believe it's 2.25 inches. But if you have a 12-inch scoreboard, you'd be going at the 9 point, or if you're doing it with a ruler and a pencil, you'd be going at the 9.75 or 9 3/4 mark. Now we can go ahead and fold on all of these score lines. This is my first one, the 6" one. And I think I'm going to go ahead and actually fold it both ways, because some of these are going to fold one way, some are going to fold another. So rather than having to reinforce it later, I'm just going to do it right now on all of them. And then we have our 3 score lines here. Okay, I think I don't need this scoreboard anymore, so I'm going to move that out. Now, each of these rectangles are about 3.25 inches tall, but your 2 top ones are 2.25 inches tall, and the one on the left here is the one we're going to completely remove. So I'm just going to X that out there and sort of pencil the fold line, and this is really just so that hopefully you can see better. And then if you can cut relatively straight along the score line, which I don't even know that I can say that I can do that. You can cut it with scissors, or you could use a paper trimmer, but you just want to remove this rectangle here. And I'm gonna erase that and save that to use it later, because I don't need that big X on there. So we have here, then we have, this part is the part where we're gonna fold down. So you can't really see the score line too well, but you want to fold this top corner down just to that score line. Little triangle there. And you don't want to go past it, because if you do, it's going to interfere with your folding. So if you're going to err on one side, err on just above the score line. At or above it is the way to go, because you don't want it getting in the way of your folding mechanism. Oops, and if you're too rough like me, don't tear your paper. Alright, there, look at that. And you can kind of figure out how you might have to reinforce some of the folds as it goes. There we go. Now, for this one down here, we're going to cut, I think I'm going to use a ruler. We're going to cut along this line, and this one right here. And I'm just going to do that with the scissors. There. And then this. There's no perfection here, that is for sure. We're not worrying about perfection, because I couldn't get it if I wanted to. So now I'll have to try to remember my example. Now here is where you can totally personalize this if you didn't want to fold it the way I did, but since we're using this as an example, this one flips in, and on this one you could have it go all the way, or you can trim off a little and have it flip out. I think this time I'm gonna just go crazy and do something different, and I'm just gonna flip this out partially, and then I will grab some glue. Might want to trim that a bit later if it's getting in the way, but I'm just going to add a little bit of glue there and there. Where is... I don't want it seeping out too much. So I've made, instead of following this exact example, I've made a little tuck spot here instead. Fun. Then on our example we have this one. Let me fold that up. I glued along this edge. So, and I feel like that's, I don't know if this is just a little long, but I might just trim this off a little bit. Certain amount of working out the kinks, huh? So then, in order to have this be a pocket as well, I'm going to run the little line of glue down there. I lost my hole puncher that I'd used on the first one, so I'm going to have to use this one. Ah! I'm already in complete disaster mode. I can't find anything. And I'm throwing pencils around. That's how I roll, folks. So here, I just want to mark the center point, because I like my little notches to be centered, and I decided this time to do it before gluing it, so I'm going to add just a little more because I let my glue dry there. But now I can fold this up and press down the glue there and make this nice and creased. I do believe that I need to glue this side as well, which I don't know what I was thinking there. Must have forgot about that part. And so there, I'm going to add a little glue there. That's not the best cut, but you know what, I can fix it after I get it all put together. If there's anything sticking out, that's when I can trim that. So this, if all went the way I planned, this should now be a pocket. Let's see. And it's looking very red, but guess what? We haven't got to the fun part of decorating. I might do that off camera, though. Here, that flips there, that flips there, this flips here. And I'm gonna have to make sure, I think we need to do a little bit of trimming on this pocket here. I buried my scissors. So, because I can't cut straight, even with a score line to follow. But that's okay, you know. That's perfectly fine. There's room for that. So now I've trimmed it again, just a wee bit, and that, boom. Make sure this can fold down. I'm happy with that. I am satisfied with that. And where did my wax seals go? Not too far away. That is going to be my closure. So, I don't know where my stronger tacky glue is, but... Okay. We're going to try this, and you know what? I'm not too worried, because if it falls off, I'll just re-glue it. But that's... And one thing I learned the hard way was don't leave your paper in there while it's adhering, or else you'll glue your paper to it also. I need to encourage this to stay. That's not quite big enough. Yeah, that's good. And voila, c'est ça. That's it for now. I think we'll come back and do some decorating in a moment here. Okay, so plan B is, since it's such a long process to do the detailed embellishment of this whole little cute item here, flip book, I'm going to put that in a separate video. But as always, I want to thank you for watching, and have Check the description for links and keep your eyes out for more fun and exciting videos using these kind of supplies. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscription and notification bell. Have a wonderful and creative day. Bye!